It's 10 to 3 in the afternoon of April the 4th, only 6 days before my birthday. And I still don't know what I'm doing. Hi, everybody. My name is Babala Brooke, and I'm already venting because it's just like so a lot. And I'm just one person, like a lot of people out there, who is trying to do it all single handedly. Emphasis being on single. Right now, I'm sitting in my robe with sneakers and socks on because my feet are constantly cold to the point of I don't even know if anymore if it's really cold in this house because it's hot outside. I'm in the California desert. It's already close to Death Valley. You know what? I'll take it. I'm taking all the cool temperatures that I can get because last year in this house was the hottest summer I ever experienced in my life. And I've had some summers where I was like, okay, this has been the hottest. But last year, yeah, it was. With the highest temperature that I can remember off the top of my head being 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius. Now, today, what has me sitting here doing a quick recording when I have so many things on my plate to do is that I just got off the phone with the call center that handles my doctor's, I call it doctor's rooms, but I haven't met the doctor yet. In fact, these people are so professional that since I started calling them to register because they are a new service provider for my health insurance, which is nice because we're in the middle of nowhere. I live off grid and there's nothing here. There's nobody here. Just, So it was nice that I didn't have to drive to Barstow, which is like on your way to Vegas. Why don't I just go to Vegas and have fun while I'm at it? They had a deal with this doctor here, but when I called this call center last year, like December, they were like, yeah, we don't know who that is. First of all, they told me they don't have a deal with my health insurance. They don't accept blah, blah, blah. I was like, maybe you guys don't know yet, but can you find out from somebody who handles the deals because you guys are contracted to my health insurance now. Long story long, they ultimately connected. It was, I tell you what, when first impressions, it was not a great one. But I don't always blame the other person when these kinds of things happen. Sometimes I'm coming from a place of low vibration myself. And I'm like, when you're already not necessarily having a shitty day, but you're just feeling shitty. Like you're just coming from a place of no. And then things go that way because that's what the energy that you're putting out. You're putting it out, but you don't know what to do other than going to sleep and then hopefully waking up from the right side of the bed again. So I was having that kind of day. I know I wasn't bed all day that day. I know it wasn't, I was sitting in the dark with the heater on. It was Christmas period and it was just, I know it wasn't the best time. So when I dealt with them and they were so frustrating or whatever, I was like, yeah, you know what? I kind of attracted this type of energy. I didn't completely blame them for it. They don't have great reviews on the internet, but people can have bad reviews and still give you a good experience. Maybe not all the time. I don't know. Now, cut to today. The girl who picked up the phone, she picked up very quickly. Usually I talk to guys. I don't know. I've talked to guys on there. Usually, these call centers, you don't know where this person that you're talking to is. And they're usually nice. Like nice in the sense that as long as you're sticking to the script, we're gonna do the bare minimum of being nice because it's part of the script. But then if you, what's the word when you go out of the thing, then it's like, oof, okay, now we're starting to get frustrated because you expect me to use words that you want me to improvise now. Like, I have a script. What are we doing? Why do I have to work for my money? Kind of deal. Or, I don't know. I used to work in a call center myself. I'm kind of particular about customer service. I think partly it's because of my personality. I'm kind of a perfectionist, and when I've done only shitty jobs basically all my life, and you apply yourself because at the end of the day, that's what puts food on the table. So when I deal with somebody who doesn't bend over and take it in the butt, I'm not even trying to ram anything up your butt, first of all. I just come here with questions. But if you feel like, no, I'm entitled, this is what happened. I call, she picks up. She's nice. I appreciate it. She asks what my birthday is. I tell her. You can already tell she's on the roll, just following the script. So I take her off course because when she asks for my birthday, I say it's April 10th, next week. So now that throws her off. And she doesn't respond to that. And then she said, what was your birthday again? Because it's just like, it's like talking to a machine. And the machine tells you, I can only understand yes or no answers type of deal. It's like, I can only understand birth dates, not extra shit like next week, So I'm like, it's on April the 10th, which is next week. She's like, oh, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's nice. Now you can't tell if she's nice or she's just like, oh, okay, like I gotta react to that, I guess. But like, come on, lady, don't be too nice. Don't be too wordy. I gotta go. I'm at work. I know you're at work. But like, can we not be human beings and say that our birthday is in 6 days? Come on. Like, surely this is not the most random thing you ever heard about somebody's birthday. Then she ends up being, I'm like, thanks for picking up quickly and whatever. And I get it. I'm trying to stick to the point too. So my questions are, this about the doctor, right? I've done probably, hopefully, by the time you hear this, if you will ever hear this, you will have heard the one about my diagnosis. So now I had a follow-up, and now I have another follow-up because they put me on medication and they want to see if it's working. Do they have to keep this dosage? Do we have to this, that, and the other? And between you and I, spoiler alert, thank God, I've been feeling better every week. The first 2 or 3 weeks, this is week. So I started on a Wednesday, and we've had 3 Wednesdays already. What is that? I don't know what that means. And since the 3rd Wednesday, today being a Tuesday, oh shit. So tomorrow is week 4? Anyway, well, I don't know. I've been feeling better and better. It's been a while since I've stayed in bed all day. Yesterday I almost even cried about it because I was like, oh my gosh, I am so productive. I've missed this side of me. I used to be so busy and so productive, like legit productivity where you can see around the house what you've done. Not that busyness of just like keeping busy but getting nothing done. Just like I'm unpacking things that I hadn't touched since I went on the road to become a truck driver. And I trucked for years with my stuff in storage. And then I moved here, and I've lived here for exactly a year now. And I, the other day, unpacked the stuff that I hadn't seen since before trucking. That's the level of productivity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually looking for this kind of stuff. I'm looking for that. And it feels so good. You know how it is? It's like therapy, right? When you do these kinds of things. One of my closets, I almost don't recognize it. I still have a lot of work to do in there, but I almost don't recognize it because it's one of those deals where you have boxes of things, but like little things. So it's so time consuming because when you take the stuff out, you have to actually read it. This was for taxes for this year. This was for whatever. This is from the other company. Okay, I will no longer deal with this company. It's been this long and whatever. And they fired me. Sorry. That blog is on babalabrook.com, or a video that I took almost as it happened is in my YouTube, also Babalabrook. So that's the level working on my car, I'm doing this, I'm washing the rugs, I'm taking baths, I'm shaving my legs, I'm painting my nails. Like, I feel like I'm being me again. I'm working out 3-4 times a week. Like, what? Right? That kind of like, oh my God, I almost don't recognize myself. I'm so thankful. I'm like, maybe the medication is working. I mean, don't ask me about when I'm PMSing. It's still rough, but I'm still productive and energetic even during that period. So maybe they did put me on the right dosage. I hope they don't like reduce it and then I have to go back in 6 weeks and they're like, yeah, sorry, we reduced it too much. Hopefully either they maintain this dosage or I feel like I'm saying dosage. Either they maintain it or they give me even more. I don't know. I don't even like to be on medication. I feel like whatever. Maybe I'm in denial. So I have to go for a couple of ultrasounds. Part of this whole thing, the thyroid situation that I've mentioned, just in case you haven't heard the other episode. I was diagnosed with low thyroid, hypothyroidism. Excuse me. It's part of the reason my voice normally doesn't sound like it's and like my throat is straining, which it is now. I think it's part of it, and I can't wait to have that part of me back. More ways than one. So I have those ultrasounds on Friday, April 20 something. Even that, I had to go to the hospital myself because I called the hospital to set up an appointment and they were like, no, your doctor's rooms haven't this, that, and the other. I said, I have the authorization from my health insurance here. Okay, can you drop them by? Because, they assume that everybody lives down the street. I don't. I live in the middle of nowhere. I have to get into the car, drive it there, and take a day off, basically, from work because I work here in the house. Even if I wasn't working at home, if I was working somewhere else and I had to drive somewhere else to drop off paperwork, you still, you know what I mean? And then when I got to the hospital, they were like, yeah, no, we're still missing this, that, and that. So I got in the car, drove over to the doctor, and then they were like, will you have everything? I said, ma'am, please, I don't have everything. Just, okay, wait for whatever department. No, do this. Okay, now let me drive back to the hospital and set up. So I had to do all of that. The doctor wants to see me again, right, in 6 weeks, like I mentioned. So now I'm talking to this lady on the phone about the appointment. Should I do an appointment on the day that I'm also doing all these ultrasounds because I'll be there in town? Then I can just take care of all of this. Because the ultrasound people, it's 3 different ultrasounds at the hospital. They were able to put them all on the same date. So that's good. It's going to be a busy day, but I'm going to be so relieved at the end of it because I will have done things that I've been postponing since I'm in January. So I said to her, do we do it on that? Can I do it on that day? She said, you don't have anybody here. You can do it over the phone. I've noticed, tell me if it's just me, because I'm not somebody who's very familiar with like going to doctors. I'm going to be very well versed in this when all of this is said and done, because already I've been so many times to the doctor and the hospital and whatever. But normally I'll just go for one checkup every 2 years or whatever, and everything will be fine and I'm good. So is it just my people or is this a normal thing? Because I've noticed that if they say come back and see me in 6 weeks or whatever, or we're going to do blood tests and then you come back after that for results, they don't want you to talk about anything else. They don't want you can't tell me that you're sick or whatever. I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to give you your results and then I'm going to walk the fuck out. If you happen to have a question because you just took a day off and drove here all the way here because you were hoping to see the doctor, that's tough, okay? I'm not answering any more questions. I'm doing what I want to do with your time here and your payment. Is that normal? Now you got to do another appointment independent of this one because this one was just for whatever. What are you talking about just for? I'm here. And if I wanted to say, oh, by the way, I noticed a lump in my breast. So you want me to go home and die now, undiagnosed, because you you only scheduled yourself 4 minutes with me, but you, even though you're getting paid for an hour, like, what are we doing? Is that me? Am I being unreasonable? I feel like I'm not, but who knows? One can be biased. So this lady on the phone is busy telling me, like, so is this appointment for just for a checkup? I'm thinking she's doing that thing that I hate again. So I said, well, they wanted to see me, but I also want to see them. So can we do both while I'm there? She's like, well, you can do both on the phone or on the video. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just not, this whole thing of going to the doctor, but like I'm at my house is so weird to me. You know what? Maybe this is the time to become a doctor. Because you just tell the patients they can come. Because can you imagine how many more people you can see over the phone or video? I once did a doctor's appointment on video. It was one of the worst experiences with a doctor. She didn't say anything mean or rude. And she kind of, it's one of those, like, it's like an undertone. And we were on video, but like, I don't know why we were on video. They sent me links to download and whatever, and the app, and click here and click there, so that she can put me and she can turn off her video. Not that I wanted her to be on video, but they told me this is a video call. I could have just had a regular phone call in my pajamas. I put on a top and lip gloss just so that I look presentable for the person on the other side. And I didn't even see anybody on the other side. I'm just sitting there waiting. She's probably looking at me the whole time. Meanwhile, who knows what the fuck she was doing. But anyway, when she was done talking, she put the phone down. I had one more thing to say. It wasn't even one more thing to say. I wanted to ask a question about the same thing. I only called about one thing. One thing. I couldn't even, and I had already told the receptionist. I'm already uncomfortable with the idea of telling a receptionist everything about my life, because you're not the doctor. Sorry, you're not the doctor. Already she was like, okay, I want to know, what are you, these, blah, 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 blah. So I told her everything. And I said, is it okay if I ask this, that? And she was like, yeah, of course. And I'm going to make a note of this so that she expects it. And the doctor just put the phone down when she was done talking. That's like, seems to be the theme. Maybe I'm the one who needs more time. Maybe I need hugs. I mean, I don't not need hugs, but I think I do okay without that kind of affection in my life. I know that sounds kind of pathetic and sad, but I can give myself hugs. I'm good. I give myself like all the love and affection and whatnot. And sometimes I'm like, probably better off this way than pretend people in my life who are feeling a role, but like they're causing more trouble than they're worth with their energy and their presence. You know what I mean? And they're taking more away than they contributing towards your life. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm like, should I then set up a schedule? Am I going to need to see the doctor for the results of these ultrasounds? Because in which case, why don't I set up a date not on the same day as the ultrasound, but later on, so that we do the ultrasound and then I come back to the doctor for all the results, for the fact that the doctor wants to see me in 6 weeks, and for the fact that the ultrasounds are clear. And she was like, yeah, ma'am, we've been on this phone call for 20 minutes. That's where she was like, we've been on this call for about 20 minutes now. And do you want me to cancel this appointment? Do you know basically, do you know what you want? Because how dare you ask me questions? And I said to her, well, because you seem like you're busy and I'm taking too much of your time, do you want to put me back to the line? I'm being partly passive aggressive and sarcastic, because you're not being polite either, right? So I said, you want to put me back in line so that you can help the other people that you're in a hurry to help, because I have questions about the same thing that I called for, and you haven't resolved my problem. So I still have questions. And if I go away now, it's not going, like, I still have questions. So why don't you put me back in line then? Let me wait for somebody, for a new term, because I used up my time. Because that's literally what she's telling me. And she said, Well, I mean, what is the question? The thing is, basically, she only has that much time to help me. She needs to go. I'm like, how much, you know what I mean? Like, how much are they paying you per hour? Do you want me to Venmo you? Like, for yourself, for you to do your job so that you can get your hourly pay from them. And I guess you get double pay. Hey, you know, obviously I'm in the wrong line of work. Basically, I didn't say that Venmo part, but that's basically where we were going with this. I said, and she's like, no, because basically it's like what she's saying is, it seems like you don't know what you want. And yeah, she's right. I don't, because I don't work for the hospital or the doctor or the call center, or I'm not her coworker. So yeah, I don't know how it works. That's why I'm asking you. Should I just schedule it? You think that it's a clear enough question and that it's logical that somebody would want to know that. They don't care about that. What they care about is, we want you. She literally first gave me 2 appointments because I was so insistent on being old fashioned and wanting to be in the same room and going to the doctor to say I've gone to the doctor. And she was like if I'm going to the doctor about my alopecia, I feel like I have alopecia and my hair is falling off. Excuse me, which of course that's what alopecia means. And you feel like you want to just show them, what it was like. I don't know, like our generation, it was like what it was like when you used to go to the doctor in person, and sometimes you get to show them something. So I feel like if I'm on the phone now, like, so what happens? First of all, doctors, I feel like at this point, because they no longer provide medication, you're gonna have to go to the pharmacy for that. They're not gonna do the blood tests. You have to go to the hospital for that. So basically, it's like it's like an agent who's gonna redirect you. So you're dealing with a call center who's gonna redirect you to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, they're gonna redirect you to the hospital. When you get the hospital, then you're gonna go. You're really going to all these other places. The doctor is just like a glorified Google. And they get pissed off when we tell them about the diagnosis that we found on Google. But really, what is the difference? Why don't I just go to Google and get diagnosed? And then hopefully they have an over-the-counter medication for this, and cut out the middleman, and you cut out the call center and just drive to Walgreens, wherever, and you get what you need, because you're still going to have to wait there. They're going to tell you, oh, your stuff was sent over to Walmart. So do you want to drive down the street to Walmart and pick up your this and that? Or everybody's just shifting the back. Everybody's shifting the back. It's like, it's only a certain amount, that 80-20 thing where like 80% of all your money comes from 20% of your job or whatever, that kind of deal. I feel like only 20% in the world of people are really doing all the job that provides services to 80%. I have my own eBay store. Currently, I don't know what I will be doing for work by the time you hear this. Because, anyway, it's the Lovely Brook on eBay and Facebook, but eBay is international shipping. So I have to run that, and I do all the departments over there. And now I'm driving around picking up stuff because the doctor didn't do their job. And then I'm driving to the hospital because nobody wants to do this and that and the other. Then I go to the pharmacy and they're telling me, oh, that was Walmart, because the doctor, again, didn't do their part, even though, whatever. And now the pharmacist is telling me, you're going to have to either go to Walmart or go to the doctor and ask them to this, that, and the other, or you call Walmart, whatever, shifting the back. Even though I know that, actually, I just came from Walmart, and Walmart said, it's just, I'm the one, am I the only one? I feel like maybe I'm taking on all of this and I don't have to. But it's like, I don't live down the street from the pharmacy where I can just be like, okay, I have to spend the day there and get to the bottom of why I went there to begin with, because I've already taken the day off, and then drive home in the dark. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do another trip. That whole thing of taking time off of your job or your productivity, even if you're writing a book or you're doing whatever, it takes your mind off of the thing. it's not easy to just shift gears and put it back right away. Sometimes I come back and I had planned to quickly do a couple of errands and then come back early and then do it several listings. But sometimes you're so no longer in that zone that it's like, okay, well, not that the day has been wasted, but you can no longer do this now. It'll have to wait until tomorrow. And tomorrow, who knows, you know? I hope it all makes sense because I do tend to talk about a lot of things. That's just how my brain works. A lot of people that I talk to do understand what I mean, where I'm going. So I don't think it's like because I'm smart, that's how my brain works. No, it's just how my personality is. And I hope that you do follow because, you know, I touch on this a lot of tangents, but I do try to go back to the main story. And yeah, I was a bit frustrated. And I wasn't even frustrated. I was sad. And the thing with me is when somebody is just like off the cuff, rude, unnecessarily and unexpectedly, I don't think off the cuff fits here, but whatever, we already said it. It just throws me off. And it's just like, whoa, that was, because, you know, you don't expect it. Especially when you somebody you already had this nice rapport with. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, they're losing, they just lost their patience now. And it's like, oh, it's like, kind of like you're being treated poorly. You're being treated like you're a second-class citizen. And you don't deserve it. And now it's like, oh, it's kind of like, I thought we were friends. This is one of the reasons I don't have friends. Because I don't do well with that change of scenery, of persona halfway through the thing when you thought that this is what we're doing. And it's kind of inconsistent. Because now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, who is this? What just happened? Oh, you angry now? Oh, what? Like, what? I thought we were, you know what I mean? I was under this impression now. Okay, I'm not good with that type of adjustment. So, and then when she realized, when I reacted how I did about, okay, put me back in the line there because you didn't resolve my problem, whatever. And she then kind of humbled herself and wanted to clarify and whatever. When that happens and they kind of when they kind of fix it, it really leaves me feeling weird because you're frustrated and you're angry, but they kind of humble themselves in a way. You kind of want to give them credit for that, but at the same time, you shouldn't have fucked up to begin with. It was your job to do this in the first place. And for the record, the call was about 10 minutes. Total, according to my call log, is 14 minutes. But first, I had to call and talk to the machine and push this number and push that number for Espanol, and you oprima this and blah, blah, blah. So it was all of that. So the call was definitely between 10 and 14 minutes, to be fair. It was not 20 minutes. I feel like it wasn't, maybe you could say the call was 15 minutes, which it wasn't because, like I said, I took the machine first. Not that it matters, but I'm just saying. So, yeah, in the end, she was just like, you cannot, because the last thing that really pissed her off was when I said, should I just make the appointment for after my ultrasound once and for all. That's what she hated. So when I said, well, I still don't know what to do, and she's like, do you want to keep the appointment or do you want me to cancel? Do you want to set another one? Do you know what you want, bitch? And so I said to her, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you this question. And she was just like, blah, 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 blah. But my point is, ultimately, she said, we can't make an appointment for you if you have ultrasounds coming up. You have to go to the ultrasound first. And then you contact us, because they need to make that money. They need to make as many appointments as possible. It's all salesmanship. They're all salespeople. Everybody's selling you something. It doesn't matter what they disguise it as. So it's a call center for you to make an appointment with a doctor? No, it's a salesman, okay? You're dealing with a used car salesman. I don't know why they have such a reputation. I've only dealt with a couple for my cars, And they were actually great. Maybe that's the whole point, but I don't know. They didn't sell me lemons. They were great. They gave me good deals. So, but I'm just going with the phrase. I don't know that I believe it. I have worse experiences with call center people, as we've established. So, yeah, she was like, we can't make an appointment for you about ultrasounds that you haven't gone to yet. Why didn't you just fucking say that? And then I would have said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Then I'll keep the appointment. That's it. Right? That's my whole point. Thank you for giving me a platform and an opportunity to vent about this, because I don't have a social circle. Kind of like to keep it that way in a way, because it's one way to protect yourself. It's not normal. It's probably not healthy, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man, to protect yourself and your feelings from these vultures and these energy vampires in this world. Until you call it call center, of course, they hurt your feelings still. Now you gotta do a podcast about it. But that's how it went. Now let me go back and actually call another. Oh my God. One of the ultrasounds requires me to go with paperwork from the last doctor I saw about blah, blah, blah. So now I gotta try and get hold of that doctor. Luckily, in my unpacking of the closet, I just love like how things fall into place. I found paperwork from that imaging whatever in Los Angeles. So I don't have to look them up on Google or whatever. I can just take that. And actually I have the dates on there as well. So yeah, that's going to help calling them. So I'm going to call them now. And if that doesn't go well, I'm telling you right now, it'll be because I went there with this weird energy. Maybe I need to go for a walk outside. This ghost flushing toilet. So I got to call those folks, and hopefully I still will have time to book myself a nice trip for my birthday. I deserve it, obviously, right? Thank you for listening. And I adore you. Give me some reviews and ratings and all the nice things. And I'd like to hear your thoughts about this particular subject. I always would like to hear what other people think, because it's kind of like a survey and a study about how abnormal I really am. Because I'm like, sometimes you wonder, am I the culprit here? Am I difficult to deal with? Why are all my roommate experiences shitty? Why are all my relationships ending in breakups? Why are all my friendships disappearing? Why do people stand me up? Why do I get hurt? Is it me? Because I know for a fact I am the lowest common denominator here. So that's why I'm sharing these experiences. I'd like to hear if other people do relate. Is there a community of us out there? Maybe all of us aren't the same way in all of the experiences that I talk about, but maybe in particular ones we share that. And then myself and a different group of people share a different one, and you and other people share certain ones, etc., etc., etc. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this particular subject. Are you the call center person who has to get off the phone after 10 minutes, otherwise you get in trouble or whatever, or you get paid per call, or you've been given 2 warnings already because you stay too long on the phone because you're too nice, and you get punished because you're not supposed to be nice? Like, I don't know. I don't remember. I know I worked 7 years in customer service / call centers, and it was about the customer. So I come from the old school of the customer is always right. Nowadays, you were wrong, you were toxic, I'm going to put the phone down, and then I'm going to do a review about you. Like, everything is so different now. So I don't come from that school of thought of call center people just being able to tell you to your face. One time I got in trouble at my call center job because a lady was tracking her vehicle. We were dealing with emergency in an emergency center where we were handling stolen and hijacked vehicles. So because that's what we were doing, people would call when they suspect that the vehicle, something's happened to them. But some of them own a fleet of vehicles and they have drivers who work for them. So the driver's not coming home. They just got paid or it's whatever. and the driver is running late. So they want to know where the driver is so that the driver can get in trouble when they come home. That type of deal, right? So they call us and they say, I think my car is stolen. But you can see in the computer, in the history of their vehicles and whatever, this lady has called before. Or they never called before, but you can see the vehicles following the same route. They had GPS. We had GPS systems from our company installed in their vehicles, so we're able to see on the computer. So you can see it's following the same route that it always does. I'm not saying it couldn't be stolen and be taken to the same neighborhood, but I'm just saying sometimes when you can't get hold of the driver and the chopper, whatever, helicopter, is out trying to recover an actually stolen vehicle where somebody was held at gunpoint. I'm talking about South Africa. Not that people don't get held at gunpoints in America. We all know how that goes. But I'm just saying that's where I was at the time. And that's where the accent's from, if you knew here. And my name, Babal. So all of that. And the lady was just like, oh, can you send a helicopter or whatever? Because everybody wants, this is going to sound hypocritical, everybody wants to be treated like the number one person. And I get it. But we only had one chopper, one helicopter that we could send out. So we can't send all the helicopters because all of our millions of customers called because the driver's late. It's a weekend and all the drivers are late and they're drinking and they're having fun and they're doing themselves. They don't have their own cars sometimes, so they're gonna run their own errands with your taxi or whatever. So, and I said to the customer, please be patient, ma'am. And apparently she called, asked for my manager, and she complained. And she said she was just so rubbed the wrong way by my use of the word patient. And my manager, I didn't even think I did anything wrong. My manager was like, did you really tell the customer to be patient? And I thought, do we want the customer to be patient in this case because we don't have any vehicle to send out to track? And he said, yeah. I said, well, he said, yeah, but you don't tell them that. I said, but I honestly, I still don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I am the problem. I still don't know. I was like, I wanted her to be patient. So I said, can you please be patient, man? We're doing the best that we can. I will keep in touch. I was being communicative and they were like, yeah, no, you don't use that word. I thought, well, okay. So that's the kind of school I come from, where you were not allowed to tell a customer to be patient. That's like how strict. Just before I let you go, one more thing. The same company. I used to, maybe I'll do another blog about this, but I once got a commendation from a customer. But that same customer had dealt with somebody else on the same case, and that person was so shitty. But once I took over the case, they were so happy that they sent the letter. First to complain about that person and to commend my services. And if you get a commendation, it was a big deal, and you get an email and blah, 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 blah. So I said to my boss, hey, boss, I heard that I got a commendation. And he was like, yeah, but it was also a complaint. I said, but not about me. And he was like, no, Brooke. I was just like, what? I can't get my commendation because somebody else fucked up? All the more reason you should be so proud because I didn't just do a good job. I made a customer feel better about something that was not going to be a good look for us. Nope, that was not. And this wasn't racism or whatever. Everybody was, I don't think that we had that in that job. We had all the races working there. We had like Indians, half races of this, that race and that race. And we had black people, white people, everybody there. But I never, and I'm talking about South Africa, but we never, I don't walk around thinking that somebody's doing something to me because I look a certain way. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's just, But yeah, I'm like, and that was that. And that manager, a lot of our managers were born around the same day, around the same time as me. So all of us were like, our horoscope was Aries. Any Arians out there? When's your birthday? So far, have you noticed any similarities in our personalities? By the way, I do a lot of recordings when I'm just irked and I want to get something off my chest. I'm not always this way. I have times when I'm just not worked up. I promise. Thank you for listening. Let me drink my tea. and get some stuff done before I like to be done by like 5 and just like take a bath and hang out. At Baba Loprok everywhere. Bye bye. Thanks.